heaven, strengthening him. Verse 44. I want us to look at verse 44. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. The Bible said, being in agony, look at something. Being in agony, he prayed the more. This was God by himself. A man that have capacity to tell you to die and you die. He said, get up, get up. But the Bible said, being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. And yet the people that needed prayer more, they were sleeping. That is the biggest challenge we have. We have a lot of people that they have battles, they are going through battles, they are going through challenges, and they think they can just drop a prayer point to a man of God and think that is the end. No, you need even more prayer than the man of God. So the Bible said, being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. Being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. Being in agony, he was praying, he was fasting, he was talking to God. In the midst of his affliction, he was praying. In the midst of his pain, he was praying. In the midst of his calamity, he was praying. In the midst of breakdown, he was praying. In the midst of confusion, he was praying. Because he understood that that was where the miracle will come from. That is when testimonies will come from. So he understood the capacity and the willingness in the place of prayer. Many people today, the devil has taken away their prayer life, because the devil knows so long they don't pray, he will have power to manipulate. Being in agony, he prayed. Can I pray for somebody? Wherever you are watching me right now, let the fire for prayer enter your spirit. Let the zeal for prayer enter your spirit. Any power that have magneted your prayer life, any force that have magneted your prayer life, let that power be dominated in the name of Jesus. As you begin to pray in this season, I see evidence. As you begin to pray in this season, doors will open. As you begin to pray in this season, the gate of heaven will be loose for you in the name of Jesus. You can't pray and don't see evidence. That's why the devil makes sure that anytime you tell yourself, I'm going to pray, he makes sure you bring the spirit of tiredness. He makes sure you bring the spirit of laziness. He makes sure he makes you become so dizzy, because he does not want you to pray. The Bible says, being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. Being in agony, Jesus prayed more earnestly, to a point where his sweat become like drops of blood falling to the ground. Being in agony. Being in agony. When you are in the midst of your pain, what do you do? When you are in the midst of confusion, what do you do? Do you complain, or do you seek the face of God? The Bible was talking about Paul and Silas. They were saying they were in prison, and yet they were singing songs of praise. They were in prison, and yet they prayed. Look, Acts chapter 16, from verse number 25. They were in prison, in chains, and they prayed. And that was when miracles, the Bible said, and the angel of the Lord appeared. Because men could still pray even when they were afflicted. Listen to me. Depending on people is the gateway to live a life of frustration. Depending on people is the gateway to live a life of pain, a life of affliction, a life of regret. The reason many people today, they are having grudges against other people. They don't talk to certain people is because those people at a certain point promise them and they never fulfill the promise. So they are angry, they are bitter because somebody promised them and the person did not fulfill. That is why you have to come to a point in life where you understand that your life is in your hand. Your greatness is in your hand. Your failure is in your hand. Your success is in your hand. Stop depending on people. Rise up and become the change you want to see. Nobody can help you better than you help yourself. Acts chapter 16. Let's look at from verse 25. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for your destiny. This is your life. This is your destiny. Nobody can help you. And at midnight, Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto God. And the prisoners heard them. They were in prison. They were in pain. They were in chains. And they prayed. They were in prison. They were actually in chains. The Bible says at midnight, Paul and Silas, they began to pray. They began to pray. They began to pray. 26. Verse 26. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken. And immediately all doors were open, and everyone bound were loose. Do you know why they were loose? Because somebody prayed. Do you know why they were liberated? Because somebody was praying. The Bible said Paul and Silas at midnight they began to pray. The Bible said because of their prayer there was a violent earthquake, that the angel of the Lord descended, and there was a violent earthquake, and everyone was bound. They were loose because somebody prayed. Your freedom is in your place of prayer. The Bible said, and the foundations of the prison were being shaken as these men prayed. The foundations of the prison were being shaken as these men prayed. And the foundations were shaken as these men prayed. And the Bible said everyone that was bound, all of them, they were loose because somebody prayed. Because in the season of pain, they were praying. The Bakasi Branda, and the Bible said, and the angel of the Lord descended. If you were actually praying in the midst of that affliction, you wouldn't have been where you are today. Stop complaining. Stop complaining that things are not working. Just enter the prayer room. Anna complained for years. But the moment she realized that she was the one to do something, that was when things changed. She realized that she was the one to command things to change, and that was when things move. I don't know where you are watching me. Right now, I prophesy to you. Whether you're watching me on Facebook, YouTube, Spirit TV, right now, by the force of grace, Kabalisi Branda, let the spirit for prayer, let the appetite for prayer. I want you to take this prayer. Oh God, baptize me with the spirit of prayer. Every spirit of laziness in the place of prayer operating my life, let that power be dominated. The spirit of laziness in the place of prayer. Whatever be that spirits of laziness, of tiredness, weakness of body that always come over me anytime I am about to pray, let that spirit be dominated. Let it be dominated wherever you are. Let that spirit be dominated over your life. The spirit for prayer, the appetite for prayer, let it come upon you. Appetite to pray, let it come upon you. And as you pray, you will see results. As you pray, you see evidence. As you pray, doors will open. As you pray, foundations will be destroyed. And you'll be loose from every manipulation in the name of Jesus. You can't